They get me. Why Karmelo Anthony's daddy, Drew, on the internet requesting for $1.4 million donation again? What did y'all do with all that? What did y'all do with all that money? Where did it go? You know what lawyer fees and all that stuff costs that much. They say y'all bought an Escalade and a brand new house with that money. Now y'all should have put that money up for that man lawyer fees, because you know them people is fighting, trying to get that man, and he's young. So in a way, y'all up there spend all that money like that y'all raised. That was supposed to be put aside for him with his lawyer fees and everything else that he need to have that money for. And y'all go sit up there and spend that money.
So apparently, I guess some of Karmelo Anthony's supporters are starting to come to the realization that they got duped. This is not the only clip that I've seen like this of Karmelo Anthony supporters actually coming out and saying, okay, wait, where did all of the money go? And I'll be the first to admit that I wasn't so sure that this day would ever come. From the looks of things, Karmelo Anthony supporters just didn't even care. They were going to throw their support behind Karmelo's family regardless. And I mean, if you're someone who was supporting them from the first place, regardless of where the money went, it's still disgusting because you're supporting the family of a murderer, backing them up for some reason instead of the family of the victim. But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I try to be a good person, and look, I think that for most people that were donating to Karmelo, none of the other details mattered. It was just a big middle finger to white people. But I think some people kind of got caught up in the hype. They fell for a lot of the fake news that was being spread. They kind of got brainwashed into thinking that the story was something totally different than what it was. They got riled up. They wanted to stand with their tribe. They wanted to, stand with their people. They send some money thinking that it's going to Karmelo's legal defense. And then it turns out that it didn't really go to the legal defense. You got to understand that some of these Karmelo Anthony supporters were defending Karmelo's family when it was initially reported that Karmelo's family was going to spend the money on a new house and spend the money on new cars and stuff like that. A lot of these Karmelo supporters were saying, hey, that's not true. They were doing the best they could to defend Karmelo's family, which is a very tough job to do. And now a lot of them probably feel stupid because Karmelo Anthony's family kind of made them look stupid by coming out and saying, hey, we need more money for the legal defense now that Karmelo's been indicted. Don't ask us where the other 500, don't ask us where the other $500,000 went. We need another milli. So it's not like Karmelo Anthony supporters are coming out in droves and calling Karmelo and his family out. But there are a couple of people that are coming out and they're saying, okay, wait, hold up. Why in the hell are you asking for more money now? We thought we already sent you the money for Karmelo's legal defense. Now you're kind of acting like that never happened. Now you need more money. So people have questions, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. And look, the writing has been on the wall since the beginning. Karmelo's family, they would come out and they would say one thing in the press conferences, but if you read like the fine printing on their little Give, Send, Go, if you actually read what they had to say on there, they talked about how and folks, they had to update it once they got called out, because at first they did not mention that they were going to be spending money on security and cars and houses and moving, but they had to update their Give, Send, Go to list all of that stuff. But a lot of the people donating didn't even read. A lot of the people donating probably thought that, hey, this money's going towards a lawyer. Well, it turns out that that money did not go towards a lawyer, or at least a lot of it didn't. I don't think they saved up a lot of it for the trial. So now they're desperately asking for more, but the money's not rolling in at the same rate. So I don't know what they're going to do. They better manage that money or else Karmelo's going to have to ride with that court-appointed lawyer that we already know he applied for. So, I mean, it's disgusting enough that they raised the money in the first place, but just knowing that it's not really going to what they said it was going to go towards, I think that should be upsetting to people who were donating to them. Because not only are they making themselves look bad, but they're making y'all look bad in the process as well. And you know, the crazy part is that Carmelo Anthony's supporters, they blame everything on white people or racism, right? Like literally they're saying that Carmelo Anthony was not indicted for first-degree murder because he murdered someone. No, he was indicted because he's a black man in America and the white man is trying to hold him down. That's the way they have looked at this situation, okay? They look at it as if, oh, it's white people, it's white people, it's white people. Carmelo's not going to jail because of his own actions, it's because of white people. But really ask yourselves this question. Who hurts black causes more than black people themselves? I mean, look at the Carmelo Anthony situation. Does it not remind you of Black Lives Matter? How they raised all of this money that was supposed to pour back into black communities. They were raising all of this money. They were going to build this. They were going to build that. But in reality, all of that money went to buying some mansions for some of the leaders of BLM. And I'm talking millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars flowing into BLM. None of it got, spread out and dispersed throughout the black community. No, all of that money went to a few individuals who got rich as heck off of it and bought up a bunch of mansions, went and bought up a bunch of houses so they could live closer to the richer white people that they complained about. And now we have the Carmelo Anthony situation. The entire black community, and not everyone, I have to say that because for some reason we got to act like kids here. Not all, but a large portion of the black community, they came together, they rallied around Carmelo. They raised $500,000 for him at this point, only to kind of be crapped on. Because now we know that money, a lot of it did not go towards legal fees. It looks like a lot of that money may be gone. And now they're asking for more. So in the future, when maybe there is a young black man who really did defend himself, maybe he really does have a solid self-defense case, but can't afford a lawyer. In the future, people are going to be hesitant when it comes to donating to him because they're going to remember Carmelo Anthony. Maybe one day a real movement or a just cause for good will come about and people will be afraid to take part in that movement or to donate to that movement because of what happened with Black Lives Matter. The people who are rallying around Carmelo Anthony's family right now as if it is a good look or a good look to the black community, they need to understand that Carmelo's family is not doing the black community any favors. They're not doing themselves any favors. They're not doing you any favor. If anything, some people would make the argument that they're making the black community look bad. I don't want to say that because I don't think their actions, have to necessarily reflect the actions of everyone in the black community. But people could make that argument, but at the very least, what they're doing here is going to make things harder for people in the future. Because like I said, maybe one day a case will come about where a young black man has a solid self-defense case and he can't really afford a good lawyer. Now people are going to look at him like he's just another Carmelo Anthony. So when people celebrate and they support people like Carmelo Anthony and his family, I wonder if they think that far ahead. Now, I know the answer to that question. They don't, because if they did, they wouldn't support them. But people really need to start thinking ahead People need to look at the bigger picture. They need to understand how these things can affect certain situations in the future. But as of right now, I mean, at the very least, as you can see, we do have a few Karmelo supporters waking up, realizing they're being duped. Hopefully they wake other people up as well. Because, I don't want to see stuff like this continue to happen. It really stirs up a lot of problems, in our country overall. We wouldn't be here today having this discussion if it wasn't for Karmelo's family constantly race baiting and trying to grift off of the tragic murder of a young white kid. But they chose to take that route, which is why I chose to take the route of defending Austin Metcalf. So if you guys support the channel, while you're here, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you drop a comment. If you would like to take your support one step further, you could always donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. Always greatly appreciated. But with all of that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.